Hi guys, I am Amelie. I'm a visual artist in Denver and I'm on a journey to paint every day for a year and probably a lot longer than that. So today I wanted to talk about the desire to paint or be creative every day, how I get started, and some tips and tricks if you want to get started on a similar journey. So, first of all, I would say the beginning of this is to have a really clear why. You've heard that before, probably. Have a really strong inspiration and a really clear vision of why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I feel like I'm not a real artist unless I paint all the time or I create all the time? And by the way, it's not just, I'm going to say painting a lot, but it goes for any type of creative endeavor, writing, pottery, whatever it is. So, replace it with whatever you want. Um, do you feel like you have to do that to be considered serious, to be a real artist? Whether you want to sell or not, maybe it's for social media, you feel like you need content. Um, so I feel like it is important to just take some time to not think so much about, okay, is it possible? How hard will it be? My life, it won't work for me, blah, blah, but mostly like, do I really want to do this and why? And something that really helped me and actually got me started is this book, Daily Painting from Carol Marine. I can never say her name for some reason. And it's just a really nice, it has nice of really cool painting and images. It's really easy to read. It has testimonials from different artists that paint every day and kind of just giving some inspiration to try to paint every day. And I think for me, the main one was to just not put as much pressure on myself day to day to come up with something amazing. If you paint, once a week or once a month, when you sit down to paint or create, you really have this pressure of like, okay, this is my time. I have the next 4 hours. I need to like do something great. I need to make it count. And it can be a lot of pressure. And I feel like sometimes that's what creates the artist block, is really putting so much pressure on yourself that you end up just, first of all, you want to find the perfect subject to paint, the perfect idea, the perfect materials, all has to be like perfectly set up, and then you want to try to get going, but you're really stressed out, and then you start, you feel like, oh, it's not going well, and it's just like so much stress and so much pressure. And for me, the idea of painting every day was to relieve some of that pressure, and really being in a state of mind of like, if it's not going so well today, it might be better tomorrow. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I do it all the time. And so it's more of just like, um, I don't know, just like something that's not as like life or death situation when you do it. And not so much something that you like maybe feel guilty about not doing for so long. So you really need to like make up for it. It just creates less emotions attached to it. Um, so that's one big thing that got me started. And she talks in this book about how she was in that case, she would paint at the beginning bigger paintings, and she would sort of like start painting and then get kind of overwhelmed with the scope of the painting and then not paint for a while and then feel guilty and then come back and just like, just have this like real roller coaster. And part of it, and something that also helped me get started, is that she started painting smaller paintings that she could finish in one sitting. That way, it's also not as overwhelming. And if you mess it up, then, just put it in a drawer and start new the next day. So you don't come back the next day to like a hot mess of a painting. And I did that so I actually did that for a full month as a challenge, one painting a day. a couple months back. And that was really helpful for, what I told you of just having less pressure, because every day you just start anew. So if it went bad, you can start on a new one, and it's also, it's a smaller one, it's less pressure, you get it done faster. I was trying to get like a little 5x7 panel, a cheap panel, so you don't waste a bunch of money, and something that I could finish in, about an hour of painting. So that's one tip that I can recommend, is to start small. And it can apply for other disciplines. If you're writing, just start writing a little short story that's a couple pages, instead of being like, today I'm going to start on my novel. That might help just get the pressure out and get the juices flowing without starting this immense project right away. So I really like that. And then when January came around, I wanted to do another challenge, and I decided to not do a painting a day, just do painting every day for, at least half an hour to an hour is like the minimum to really say I painted, because I don't I don't recommend you cheat and just be like, okay, I did it, check, but also you can, I like to challenge myself, because I do need at least half an hour to like get in the groove, really. But, if you want to say, I'm just going to paint for 10 minutes a day, you make the decision. So that's another tip, is like, don't pressure yourself into doing something that doesn't work for you just because you think it would be better. Just do what feels right for you. And I would recommend, take some time to think about it before, and instead of just throwing yourself into a thing, and make sure that it's something you want to do, you're excited about doing, you feel it's challenging but realistic, so that you actually really want to follow through with it. So backtracking, I did this one painting a day for a month, and then started January, I decided to do just, about an hour a day minimum. Some days, when I'm off, I'm not going to my part-time job, I don't have much, I can paint much longer, but it's kind of just a minimum. The reason why I decided to personally do that instead of a painting a day is that even though a painting a day is great to get you going, you try a lot of different things, you learn a lot, I felt like, first of all, I was missing doing some bigger paintings, and I was finding that, painting a painting a day and then on top of that doing a bigger project was just a lot of mental energy. So the only issue I found with a painting a day is that every day you have to find, a reference, or at least an idea of what you want to paint, source it, if you use a reference photo, you have to make sure that, it's your own photo, or there's no copyright on it, or if there is copyright, make sure it's just for your practice and you don't show it online or whatever. I did do, for the 30 days, I just copied masters, did master copies. So, it's like Klimt and Monet and things like that are public domain. So, but even despite that, I felt that it was just a lot of energy to find my reference to paint. It was a lot of energy to prepare all of these panels to, get the ground in and just have them ready to go. And also just like finish the whole painting, store it, dry it. Like, it was just like, when you accelerated the whole process, and if you're an artist, you probably know what I mean, of just like the, finding the idea, finding the reference that you're excited to paint, getting all your supplies out, starting to paint, finishing the painting, deciding Is it finished? Is it not finished? Should I add a little thing? Or maybe I'm running out of time, finish it. And then I was posting it online. So on top of that, I had to take photos and then make a Instagram post and post it online. So all said and done, even though the painting itself only took me an hour, the whole process took me more like 2+ hours, which some days it was fine and some days it was really tough to just, and do it every day and every day and every day and every day. It just it's a lot of mental energy. So that's why I decided to go back. If I was going to do it for a year, I felt like I would get burnt out trying to do a painting a day for a year. Even though that would be awesome, but I just felt like it was too much. So, comes back to my tip of just really think about what is challenging but realistic for you, so that you can actually get it going without getting to a point where you're so burnt out that you don't want to paint anymore, or you're just exhausted or cranky or anything like that. So there's that. So far it's working well. I have to admit, we're now beginning of February, and in the first month, I missed 3 days of painting. There were all days when I was traveling a lot, so, it was much harder than when I'm at home. I also have to admit that, looking back to it, I could have made it. I could have found a way. I could have gotten up an hour earlier to paint before I had to leave. I could have taken, some gouache or some watercolor with me and do it on the go or something. So it was hard to feel like I kind of messed it up right at the beginning. But I think, and that's another tip that a lesson I learned, is I would recommend, which I feel will happen, if you mess up, if you miss a day, if you miss on any challenge, take that opportunity to reflect on what went wrong, what beliefs you had that got in the way, what, life circumstance. Did you say yes to something you could have said no? Did you mismanage your time? Did you, or was it really like you got so sick and there was really nothing you could do? So to just learn from it, I felt like really enabled me to like keep moving forward, because instead of being like, I messed up, like this is it, I'm a piece of shit. I was able to be like, okay, I learned something from this. So now I have this thing of like, I know that if I have a day where I have to travel all day, or, there's something going on all day, I can try to get up earlier, get up half an hour earlier or an hour earlier. So that means planning ahead and try to go to bed earlier the night before, or just, I'm just going to be tired all day. It's whatever. And the fact of learning that lesson, it got me more excited to get back into it and actually, have that in my toolbox so I would be able to apply it next time something like that happened. So instead of being like, that's it, it's, I failed, I was like, ooh, I'm actually excited to try this thing on. And okay, so there's that. Now, hopefully it is kind of helpful to you to try to have you, think about things, about what you would like to do, how it could fit, what would feel good, what would feel exciting. Another thing, for me, as far as talking about the why we're doing something, I am really at a point in my life, in my career as an artist, where I have ideas for things that I really want to paint, and I feel like my skill set is not quite where I would want it to be to actually do these things the way I want to do them, and it can be really frustrating when I have an idea in my head and I don't know how to really make it happen. And to me, I am convinced that painting every day for a year will really skyrocket my skill to a whole other level. And that is a big part of why I'm doing it. So, skyrocketing my skills and also getting rid of the roller coaster emotional of like guilt when I don't paint, pressure when I do paint to get it, feeling all sorts of things around it, and just be like, that's what I do every day. I just paint. I paint, I paint, I paint. It's good, it's bad, it works, it doesn't work. I just keep painting. And then after a year, I'll look back and see. And my conviction, at least my hope, is that I will see great, great progress in my skills, as well as in my confidence as an artist, in my confidence in myself, in being able to show up for what is most important to me. And, also, I'm the kind of person that does really well with like really clear instructions, clear goals, and clear things. Like, I've tried in the past to be like, oh, I'm going to paint, 20 hours a week, or I'm going to blah, 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 like something more vague that's not day to day. And it doesn't work as well for me because it's not clear enough. It's the same. I was on like a diet for my health at some point, and just being like, I'll just try not to eat too much sugar. Like, it doesn't work. But if I had the doctor be like, okay, we're gonna cut out sugar and gluten and this for this amount of time, you're gonna do this and you're gonna eat this, I'm like, got it, I can do it. So it's also a matter of like knowing yourself and how you respond better. If something really strict and clear stresses you out, maybe you have something a little bit more, loose. You do want to have something that you can track, though, I feel. Whatever it is, make sure that it's like something that you can actually see. Did I do it or did I not do it? Because the danger here is for you to be too loose and do like, oh yeah, I'm gonna paint more this year. And then at the end of the year, you're like, it didn't work. I didn't get better. I didn't, and it's like, well, if you're honest with yourself, like you didn't really do it, So that's another tip. Or, things to think about. I'm on this journey too, so it's not like I have all the answers. I'm 1 month in. So yeah. Let's see. I would also add, a few little things that has helped me so far if you want to get started on this and see how it goes. Something that's very important, at least for me, is when I finish a day, I want to be set up for the next day. So ideally, I want to have an idea of what I'm going to do the next day, whether it's like, oh, I'm going to finish this painting, or I'm going to start this new one, or have like something clear and set in your mind. Try to have your studio or the place where you paint that is, clean, your material is ready, so you don't have to, when you come back the next day, be like, okay, so it's a mess, so I need to clear everything up. Now, what am I going to do? Let's just go online and scroll for half an hour trying to find something to paint. And like, that's not gonna work, especially if it's a day when you don't have a lot of time. It's going to be super stressful and it's gonna trip you up. So prepare the day before, even if it's just a loose idea of what you're going to do, and like, have your stuff on hand. Will really be helpful. Same thing if you don't have a full-on art studio, it's fine if you can, have all of your material out and ready in the corner of a table or something, so you don't have to like pull everything out every day. That I think is also super helpful, because you kind of want to get started before your mind starts freaking out, or you start stressing, or you start finding reason and excuses or distraction that is gonna get you off track. So you kind of want to like be able to just get right to it. Same thing in the same vein, what I learned is if you're able, and I'm not great at it honestly, to do it first thing in the morning and not be like, I'm gonna, go to work and go see a friend and do this and that and then come back at night and paint is going to be much harder because you don't know how your day is going to go. Maybe you're going to be super tired, you're not going to feel well, something's going to happen, and then you get off track. If you're able to do it first thing in the morning, I'm not a morning person, so it's really hard for me to be awake and going before like 10 a.m. So I get it. It sucks for a lot of us, but when I'm able to just like kind of push through, take my coffee with me and get going, then I just feel the sense of accomplishment, and I don't have to stress and think about it, because otherwise all day I'm gonna think about it. Shit, like I need to paint when I come home. I need to paint when I come home. I have to stay late at work. If something's happening, dinner's not ready, and I'm just cranky because I'm stressed out about it. So that's, if you can, as much as possible. I'm checking my note to see if I forgot anything. Another thing that is helpful also, on top of, having an idea of what you're going to do the next day and having your space ready, is also having a few different projects that you can do. Even though you want to have an idea of what you're going to do the next day, I feel like it's important also to acknowledge where you're at that day. And I try to always have, a bigger, harder painting to do, but also have a reference for an easier, small painting. So if I'm like, oh, I just don't have it in me to work on this, then I can be like, oh, I can do this little thing instead. Like, that's fun, or even like, I can have some paintings that I want to varnish or some panels that I want to prep, so that if I really don't feel like it, I can start warming up by doing some of these things, or some color mixing, or whatever thing you like to do or is easy to do for the days that you're really like not feeling like it. Because if you're like, okay, tomorrow I'm finishing this very difficult thing that I don't know how to do, some days you're just going to procrastinate or not want to do it because you don't feel up for it. And it's fine. The only thing you need to do is show up. Like, so I would have those backup plans for the days when you're not really feeling like it, so that you can still do something. All right, so that's a lot of the things that I wanted to share from what I learned from, now it's, going on 2 months of painting every day. Not consecutively, but we're getting there. And I hope it inspired you. I hope you consider getting this book or another book about creating every day. If you don't know about Liz Gilbert, the Eat, Pray, Love author, she also has a lot of good talks on YouTube about being creative, how to live a creative life, that I feel are really inspiring to me. Sometimes I'll put them on in the background as I'm starting to paint to kind of just encourage myself, especially if you don't have a lot of creative people in your life, or a lot of people that can inspire you and motivate you or encourage you. I think that it's important to, now we can do it online. We can open our phone or computer and have friends that are on the same journey as us to share. And I'm here for you. So let me know. Leave a comment if you're doing the same thing. I would love to know, so we can encourage each other. If you're posting about it too, let me know. I'll follow you and we can encourage each other. And I hope it was helpful. I will check in, month to month probably, with updates on how it's working, things I learned, and just encouragement. So let me know if you have any questions or there's anything that you would like me to share about this. All right. Thank you for staying with me, and I will see you next time.